Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about how you should be using Tatsumaki and how you should be building her. First I want to start off with her memories and her wills. Important things to know about her though is that she has an accurate shooting mechanic and a liberation form, which I'll get into in the gameplay section. So let's start off with her affixes. She does have an SSR passive that gives her +2 to penetrating eye. What that does is increases her crit rate. So normally, for majority of characters, penetrating eye will only go up to level 4. But in Tatsumaki's case, she gets 2 extra levels, so she can go all the way up to level 6, giving her 75% crit chance. This is important for her because she is a crit-based unit. She wants as much crit damage, crit rate, and attack as she can possibly get to do the maximum amount of damage. So ideally, affixes that you will want to look out for when you are building your Tatsumaki are the Impassion affix. What that does is increase your attack. Her Piece of Cake affix, which is her exclusive affix. And Mind Reader, what this does is increases her crit damage. And then, as I mentioned before, you want Penetrating Eye. I personally like to run 2 out of 3 for her personal affix, the Piece of Cake one, because her 3rd level doesn't really give her any more damage, so I just think it's better to run 2. But if you run 3, it won't hurt you. So let's head on over to her. Wait, let me go back to her wills. So for wills, it's the same thing. You just want to look for the affixes that I mentioned before, and wherever you can put these affixes is, and whatever you can get, just do that. There's nothing special or really different about wills versus the memories, so I'll just whatever you can get. So for early game though, I don't recommend going for the sets early game. Just put on as much attack as possible. Put on whatever memories give you the most amount of attack, and that should get you through most content. So let's head on over to her Impression Arms. I personally don't have her SSR Impression Arms, but based on reading it and based on my personal experience with her SR one, I found that this one is likely going to be her best in slot arms, just because it gives her attack, and all this does is defense shred and give immunity to status effects, but it's conditional versus this giving you a lot of attack and not being conditional whatsoever, and also buffing all teammates at E4. So if you get this to dupe 4, you can buff all your teammates' attack, and assault characters will get an additional attack percentage, which is nice. As for the main stat on the arms and the passive, as long as you have them unlocked, this is universal. You don't have to have them equipped. You still get the passive and stats, so don't worry about this too much. Let's head on over to our gameplay though. Whoops. So, as I was mentioning before in the memory section, she has an accurate shooting mechanic. So you see the crosshair and how it's yellow? This is the ideal range that you want to be when you're playing with Tatsumaki, because this is where she'll receive most of her buffs, and this is where she'll just do the most amount of damage. So if I go closer, see how the crosshair is white? This means I'm too close. And if I go further away, although I can reach, the crosshair is red and not yellow, and this isn't where I want to be. So, and then this little circle here, when you attack, do any skill, any form of damage you do will fill up this. This is her telekinetic mark mechanic. You want to fill this up, this circle all the way, so that you get these telekinetic spears, and those are the little things at the bottom. So you want to fill that all the way up and then go into her liberation state. So let's go ahead and do that. Normally though, you would want to fill it up all the way. You would need 2 circles of telekinetic mark to do that. But for demonstration, I'm just going to go into it straight away. So ideally, you want to always have the skill 2 off the cooldown before you activate liberation state, so that you can fill up that telekinetic mark fast. Once you fill that telekinetic mark up, you get this access to a skill called Terrible Tornado, which I didn't get. So let's go ahead and do that again. This Terrible Tornado skill right here is going to be her highest source of damage. This is her most damaging move. This is what you want to get. You want to get as many of these as you possibly can to dish out as much possible damage. So ideally, you want to understand the patterns of the boss so you know when to activate her liberation state, so that you can get a proper rotation in, and always have this skill 2 right here off cooldown before you go into it, so that way you can spam her telekinetic spears while also building up the maximum amount of telekinetic mark you can, because the more you build it, the more terrible tornado attacks you can release, and the longer you can stay in liberation state, because once you build a circle, it'll give you, when you're in the liberation state and build a circle, it'll give you more telekinetic spears, and it'll also increase your meter. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If there's anything I missed, please let me know in the comments. Anything you disagree with, or anything I might not have known, let me know. Or any questions you have about this character. And until then, I'll see you next video.